Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Fortress Comic News, episode 381. I am one of your hosts, Chris, alongside my co-host here, Mike. What's going on, Mike?
Nothing much. We have an interview today. We'll talk about at the top of the show for once. Josh Nealis is on with his book Turkey Sharks 1 through 5, the finale on Kickstarter right now. In the vein of South Park style humor with superheroes and ridiculous villains. So we obviously loved it, the interview, and I think the book's awesome. So yeah, looking forward to that. Other than that, coworker has a ridiculous collection of Wonder Woman comics, Sensation Comics. So I got to see that this week when I was traveling for work, which was insane.
You sent me pictures of it.
Yeah.
And there's more money in those pictures than I will make in the next 5 to 10 years.
Oh, yeah. And those were just the books that are like kept in a safety deposit box, Chris. That's like, so those are the books in the safety deposit box, which I've never done that before. Like you go in, the only time I've ever seen that is like, I think in like Mission Impossible or the Bourne movies where they,
I was gonna say, that was a thing that just happened in Bond.
Yeah. The Bourne Identity where they like go in and they open a safety deposit box that has like passports and guns. No, these were filled with comics. But he presses comics and he restores them, cleans them up, and he's got a whole room in his house dedicated to it. He's got all these Wonder Woman comics, all graded. Some of the Sensation comics are from the Promise collection. I don't know if you've ever looked up the Promise collection.
No,
something I had never heard about. So I don't want to destroy the story, but you could look up the Promise collection on Wiki. Basically, it was like this brother who went off to war, and he left his comics to his other brother who kept them in like mint condition. And these are like comics from like the 1940s. I think at the end of it, they were all comics that were like 9.8s or higher, and like golden age comics worth millions of dollars. It's like a famous collection of comics if you guys look it up. But he has
like they were all 9 or higher.
Yeah, which is crazy for that era. And the funny part is like on the CGC label, because these are all graded, it actually says from the Promise collection because it's like so famous within the comic community, the comic collecting community, which is actually pretty awesome.
Yeah, I got an article up here. I'm gonna look that up later. That sounds cool.
Yeah, it's like something I'd never heard of, but so that was cool seeing all these like amazing old school comics that I'll never be able to afford. Which is all right, and here I have my comics on the wall fading. These are like key issues that I have that I probably should have like kept away, away from sunlight and shit. But it's like, I like having them on the wall.
They get those UV protected frames.
Yeah, so I have the frames, lo and behold, they're not UV protected. So I have to buy the UV protected ones, Chris. I think when I bought these back in the day, they didn't have UV protection yet. So
that or they were rare, yeah.
Yeah, because my Invincible #1 is definitely the yellow is gone on the front of the cover.
Oh, no.
It's all right. I'll just buy it again when I'm rich. When I'm rich and famous. No.
Those are the words of man with money.
Yeah, no way.
I recently I just got done rereading. Have you ever read Slugfest?
No, I'm not.
I cannot recommend this book enough. So I read it back when it was first published.
Okay.
And I recently got into audiobooks while I'm working out.
Mm-hmm.
And I got so sucked into this that it, like, normally I only listen to a book when I'm working out. So I get like 4 to 6 hours of reading in a week. I got so sucked into this. It was just like when I was cooking, I was listening to it and everything, like going back in this book. So those that don't know, this is a book all about basically the history from like when Marvel first started until more recent. So it's like mid MCU is when the book was published, and it's all about the battle between DC and Marvel.
Okay.
And like the back and forth they had. And it's so much fun. Like you'll love it. Dude, at times like they both have spies in each other's company
to like
amazing. Steal ideas.
Yeah.
And like they talk about all the snipes they would take back and forth at each other in the letters columns and everything. It's anyone that's interested in like comic book history and comic book stuff, this is a must read. It's a great book.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. No, that's really cool. That sounds really interesting. Yeah, because I mean, even now they're always going back and forth with ideas. I feel like it's like a tug of war. Like, oh, what worked for you guys? Let's implement that next year.
Yeah, well, you end up finding out like, and once again, like a lot of this is stuff I knew, but like you know how it is, stuff falls back and gets moldy in your brain, and you forget about it.
Yep.
And like you end up reading about when Doom Patrol. So Doom Patrol came out before X-Men. And how like there was a bunch of stuff going around that like DC was accusing Marvel of having spies in the DC office and stealing the Doom Patrol idea for X-Men. The same happened with Swamp Thing, Man Thing. Like, yeah,
that's amazing.
And even like later in the late 80s, 90s when they're doing events, like they were literally doing the same event side by side and all this.
Wow.
And then it goes into when they're just like, let's call a truce and do all these crossovers. And that's where Superman and Spider-Man come from and all these other. Yeah, it's a great book. It's a great read.
All right, let's jump into some of this news, some stuff we missed from San Diego Comic-Con because there was jam-packed with shit. Prime Video announced Invincible's renewed for season 4, everybody. So look at that. Whammo. New costume and everything. This is ahead of any of the trailers or news about the season 3 premiere. So, yeah.
I always find this kind of stuff funny because it's like season 4 is coming. It's like, cool. Like,
what?
When's season 3 coming?
Yeah, when are we getting season 3?
Like, I'm glad it's going to live further, and I know I can invest further into this, but
let's just not split it up like we did last.
Oh God, that's
awful. Sucked. I hate that shit.
I think it's funny because I think about this in terms of comics all the time. It's like this would read so much better as a trade.
Yeah,
I think Invincible is going to, like, when we go back in like however many years when it's done,
and you got to watch it as straight shot. Yeah,
we're gonna be like, this is amazing. Even though we're saying that now, like we both really loved it. It's going to be even more so. Yeah, it's cool to see the blue. It's cool they're going with the gimmicks that Kirkman did along the line. Obviously, we're seeing the blue and black suit and all that in this image. So, yeah, Invincible's great. So I'm down for more.
More Invincible. Marvel Studios announced they're bringing on Star Trek Picard showrunner Terry Matalas to showrun the upcoming Vision series for Disney Plus. That's cool because, so one thing, Star Trek Picard, I feel, was successful. I think its only downfall was being on Paramount Plus. It's not very accessible to everybody. I'm serious. No, jokes aside, I mean, like, I heard like Apple's getting rid of their content because it's just like everybody's on Netflix. You know, it's like there's too many streaming services. Like, there's just too much shit going on. And I honestly, that was one of the reasons that I didn't watch it, because it was on Paramount Plus. But yeah, good for them. I guess we're still getting a Vision series, which is nice.
Yeah, I'm down for the Vision series. It's funny you say that because I actually, so to the lawyers at Paramount Plus, everything I'm about to say is satirical and definitely not real life. I'm borrowing my brother's Paramount Plus account.
Case in point.
And I did that like 4 months ago because Mike, they have a Knuckles series on there.
Oh yes, and yep, I know.
And I still haven't watched it.
Oh, okay.
And my whole thing was like, oh, I'll get it and I'll watch Knuckles, and then I can kind of dive into the Star Trek realm, like I said I was going to, and have not. I logged into the app and have not touched it.
Yeah.
So, and was Paramount's the one that had Halo, right?
I
believe so.
Yes, it was. Yep.
Yeah, and so that was, and Halo was like one of their biggest streamed things ever, and they just canceled it.
Yeah.
So
no more third season for you guys. Sorry.
Doing real good over there. Yeah, it's the streaming wars are funny. Like, we're going straight back to where we were. All these like bundles and it's weird, but
we'll see. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's for the best or it's for the worst. I don't know, but I will say, like you said, Vision's a cool character. I'll be excited to watch this show.
Yeah, I liked where they left him off after WandaVision. So
Batman Caped Crusader dropped this last week, everybody. I believe 8 episodes, and I've watched,
I think it was 10.
10. Okay, I've watched 3 or 4. Amazing. I'm gonna say that straight off the bat. Straight off the bat. I really do like it. I think it's just at like the same tone as animated series, right? Like, I would say straight up.
So I watched one episode.
Okay, yeah, one episode. Yeah.
Yes, it has a lot of animated series feel. 100%. That one episode did, at least. And I even read that one of the episodes is a nixed animated series pitch too. So this is something Bruce Timm had in his back pocket and is wanting to do for a while. Some of the changes are interesting. I thought so at first when I saw Penguin was a chick, I was like, that's weird.
Yeah.
And then like the way it evolved, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
That's like an interesting story element.
Yeah, there's like I would say a reimagining of a lot of the characters, which I think is cool.
Yeah. I like that we see Harvey Dent running for mayor and not Two-Face Harvey Dent.
Yep. With Barbara Gordon being a lawyer, which is interesting. So, and Jim, so her being a lawyer is interesting.
And it's definitely early in Batman's career because there's still that mystique of if he's real in the first episode.
Yep. And I'll say there's a Catwoman episode where she's like just donning the suit and like, oh, she sees Batman's out there, so why can't she become a villain with a costume? And then it's really a lot of like, there's a you haven't gotten to it yet, but I watched the Clayface episode and I was like, this is one of the best Batman stories I've ever watched, and you're going to be really happy when you see it. I think
that's interesting because the animated series Clayface episode is one of my favorite episodes.
And I think I know it is, and they did a really good job with this one. And it's Clayface the whole time, but it's like it deals with the vintage movie shit, and it's interesting. It's good. I thought it was really good. We get like Renee Montoya shows up as a cop, as a regular reoccurring character. So, yeah.
Yes, what I watched was good. I hope to watch more this week so we can talk more about it. But the main reason I didn't watch more was quick aside, I've been diving in and out of Harley Quinn. I think I'm through like season 2 or something. Yeah, there 4 seasons.
I think so. Yeah.
So I'm getting there because I'm a crazy person. I can't watch Kite Man until I've watched all of Harley Quinn.
Which is the opposite of what I did.
And I also have been rewatching The Umbrella Academy, and I'm almost to the end of season 3. And all I gotta say is like that show's really fucking good, as I'm sure we said at the time.
Yeah, we say it a lot. Yeah.
And season 4 starts this week, I think. So you're all listening to this Wednesday, so it drops tomorrow as you're listening to this.
Awesome. That's quick.
But that's why I have been watching Batman, is I've just been sucked back into Umbrella Academy.
Yeah. And I'll say I skipped Harley Quinn, went straight to Kite Man. Hell yeah. I think there's 4 episodes out. I watched the first 3. It's just as ridiculous as Harley Quinn, but focuses with Kite Man and like him running a bar. So it's like, him and like Legion of Doom, and like there's Darkseid shows up in one of the episodes. It's ridiculous, but they get there's a line out the door for the bar at one point, and Codpiece is in the screenshot. And I hate the HBO app because it does not let me take a screenshot on my phone of any point of the show. But Codpiece is waiting in line, like straight up Codpiece from the Doom Patrol cover. So whoever at DC sanctioned that or brought that up, thank you.
And I expect my royalty check in the mail.
Yeah. So that was awesome to see. It's a really fun show. I think Kite Man's a hilarious character, and he's a joke. He's the butt of the joke. And the characters. One of the things
he's also in Harley Quinn.
Oh, he is. I don't think. I didn't see that. Huh.
I'm looking up to see if I can find that screen for you.
Yeah,
and it pops up from Harley Quinn. So
somebody knows about Codpiece.
Yeah.
And I will say the best part about the Kite Man show is the guy who owns the bar is just a normal guy, but it's voiced by Mike Ehrmantraub from Breaking Bad, the old actor, and I can't think of his name right now. I think it's John something, but his voice is so iconic, and him voicing the guy who owns the bar is just so good because he's always like giving Kite Man advice and shit. It's just amazing. It's a fun show. I had a lot of fun watching it.
Yeah, I'll say Harley Quinn is not. I don't think you'll enjoy it. It's not really my cup of tea either, but it's got moments. And
yeah, I've watched the first season, and like you said, there's some good stuff. I just haven't kept with it.
It's really tough when you don't like the main character. That's the problem. Like, I don't like the main character, but I love Clayface. And
I love what's happening outside of Harley Quinn. Yeah.
When Kite Man shows up, I'm really happy. And there's
have you gotten the Batman episode?
I was gonna say the Batman. So Batman's voiced by Batman Brave and the Bold voice actor, who I'm zoning on his name, but it's the two chicks at one time, dude.
Yeah. Yes. Yep. That guy.
What's his name? Damn it.
From
Office Space.
Yes.
Diedrich Bader.
Yes, that's it. Yep. But that episode's great where they just talk about Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And I love that. I do love, like I said, everything around it is great because I love that, like, Jim Gordon's just like an alcoholic fuck up.
Yeah, he's like,
and then in one episode, like, he's really excited to use the tank, but Batman won't let him use it.
Yeah. There's some fun stuff. I just need to get back with it. All right, then movie news. Image Comics and Black Market Narrative announced that the company ZQ Entertainment have options for the 10-issue miniseries audio drama No/1. So that was the podcast comic that was part of the Massiverse, right? That you were reading, and now they're going to make it a TV show, you think?
It sounds like they're going to do a movie.
Oh, okay.
So I haven't read issue 10. I don't know what happened, but like something with the orders of my local comic shop, they didn't get the issue, blah, blah, blah. So I haven't read the finale for it, but I really like that series. And then I read this and they're like, oh yeah, we're going to splice in like this kind of found footage thing with fake CNN portions and all this. And I'm like, oh, so you want it to be bad. That's good.
So you want me to lose interest. Thank you.
I hate found footage movies.
Oh, really?
With a passion.
There's some that I really like. There's some good ones out there.
I've yet to find one I like. Even when Romero did it with, I forget that of the dead movie.
Cloverfield or what's the superhero one that Josh Trank did before he went into a cave? Before he did
I never saw that one, to be fair.
Oh, the superhero one?
But Cloverfield, I didn't like. I liked everything about Cloverfield except for the found footage stuff.
Yeah, if you don't like the shaky cam, I don't think there's anything redeeming.
That's my problem.
Then you'll never like a found footage. Because I can get over it, but I can understand why people hate it.
I can't get over it. I'm just like, why didn't you just do this like a movie? Like, why didn't you do it?
No, I get. Yeah, I completely get that. Yeah. Why didn't you just like put the camera on a fucking tripod?
It's one of those things where, because when Romero did it with his Of the Dead movie, and I wish I could remember the name of it,
Night of the Living Dead.
No, it was like from 2006 or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it's the 5th movie or 6th movie in the series, but whatever. And they did it as like kids who were going to Pittsburgh Film School. So it wasn't like super like crazy like you think of Blair Witch when there's like, oh my god, the camera's everywhere.
Yeah, that shit. I hate that shit.
They actually like somewhat framed the movie, but it was still bad.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's one of those things you just can't get past. I'm just like, yeah.
No, I get it.
So anyways, but No One's a good comic, and it's really cool. After every issue, there's like a little 10-15 minute audio drama that's like a fake podcast to go with it, and I do recommend reading/listening to that because it's a good experience, and I look forward to finally reading the finale and whenever it shows up.
Yeah,
fucking Lunar.
I know. Come on. All right, comic news, Chris.
Comics.
Speaking of zombie stuff, Marvel announced a new Marvel zombie series titled Dawn of Decay from writer Tom Krajewski and artist Jason Murr. Oh boy, is that Groot being like, oh my god, there's like a Captain America eating through his chest. Well, I guess not eating because they wouldn't eat Groot. Why would a zombie attack Groot if he's not?
Well, if you read the description, you'll find out why.
Right, okay. I'm getting ahead of myself here. I'm being one of those guys that just walks into the comic shop and I'm like, why is there a Marvel zombie eating Groot when he's a living tree and he doesn't have flesh?
It's like those podcasts where you get really mad at the podcast because the guy's like asking all these questions that if you just kept reading.
Yeah, I do this thing, folks, where I don't read the notes Chris takes the time to put together for me because I'm a piece of shit. I do read them. I get so heated sometimes. Anyways, plus there's a picture. There's a picture up on the screen. So if you know anything about comics, I'm going to look at the picture before I read the bubble. Okay.
Mike notoriously doesn't read books because because he had so many to read during college. Yeah. But also they don't have pictures in them.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a picture in front of me and there's also words. I'm going to pick the picture every time. Anyways.
It's a nice picture.
Yeah, it is a nice picture. It's a good cover. A new zombie virus is unleashed and Groot is patient zero. Okay. Groot feels bad, not only because Rocket's latest scheme put them firmly in the crosshairs of the Avengers, but also he's just plain sick. Sap tripping nose and all. Disgusting. Things go from bad to apocalyptic. However, after an ill-timed sneeze in Captain America's face has unforeseeable consequences. Suddenly, Groot is being attacked by a horde of zombified Avengers, and only he and Hulk with the impenetrable green skin remain impervious. Now it's up to these two heroes to team up and fight their way through a blighted New York City to Banner's lab and Avengers Tower to find a cure before it's too late. But can Groot keep the hero in check and on track, or will Hulk unleash his deadly might on the zombies they once called friends? Interesting that like the Hulk, I mean, his skin has nothing to do with it, right? Like if he sneezed on him, you'd think it'd be transferred through germs. So now the comic book science is not. It's not adding up. You know what I mean?
Well, once they're zombified, Mike, they can't sneeze anymore. It's obvious.
Well, fuck me. Then I was, my virology degree is just not applicable here. I guess. No, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I pick up every Marvel zombie books. Of course, I'm going to. It's funny to me though that this is just a blatant like they watched The Last of Us and we're like, hey, let's do that.
Yeah, Groot's a tree, which can be a fungus. No, I think it is a cool idea though.
It is cool. I like the. I mean, The Last of Us wasn't the first. They're just the one that popularized it. I get it.
Yes,
but I do like this kind of like plants gone crazy version of zombies. It's a neat thing, and like it's terrifying too because like all the little roots and shit coming out of their eyes and everything.
Yeah, I don't like that. Makes me uncomfortable, Chris.
Yeah.
But no, that's really cool. And I think if they keep doing Marvel zombies, you got to do it reimagined because it's like we've seen this stuff before, right?
Yeah, and they did like Kirkman did the original series back in the day, and it lasted like many volumes and was really good. They rebooted it and it was okay. And I think it's smart to, if you want to keep the brand alive, which they obviously do because there's a cartoon coming out.
Yep.
You got to do something new with it. And they've done a few things. Like they tried the rebooted version where they kind of updated the zombies. They tried the manga version and now they're trying this. So yeah, I don't know what you do with it moving forward, but this is a take and we'll see how it goes.
Yep. It's funny because the next thing, I don't know if this number is accurate or if it's an exaggeration.
100% accurate.
Oh, fuck me. Okay. Marvel announced more X-Men titles to go along with the 14, that is 1-4, folks, other titles they've announced this summer. That's just X-Men.
Just the X-Men line.
Just the X-Men. 14. So that's plus these, what I'm about to talk about. Okay? Laura Kinney Wolverine, written by Erica Schultz and art by Giada Belviso. Just in case you didn't want regular Wolverine, we got Laura Kinney Wolverine. Mission so dire, Wolverine must go it alone. Wolverine takes the fight to those who stand as enemies of mutant kind. Laura Kinney was bred to be the ultimate assassin as X-23. She's long left that life behind, but as she encounters mutants being forced to use their powers against their will, Wolverine takes it upon herself to right these wrongs, no matter who stands in her way. Join Wolverine as she embarks on missions abroad, ready to fight to mutant oppressors wherever they may hide. I hate that they're just calling her Wolverine, but I mean, yeah.
I forget which Marvel now or all new, all different or whatever, but when they killed off Wolverine, like she became Wolverine because you can't just kill off a character and let it rest.
No, clearly
we gotta change it some way. So
this next one kind of cool. But yeah, another X book, we don't need it.
I was just gonna say, like, having two Wolverines at the same time is confusing, and why do you do it? I guess because Chris, people like it. That must be why you do it, Chris.
Yeah,
but
you dummy, come on.
Yeah, neither. I mean, I'm gonna say this book will not be getting my purchase.
So if you want to keep up with all the X-Men stuff, you need to 15 times 4 per month. Probably.
Well, 15 issues a month.
Yeah. 15 issues a month, and that's just for each series.
Plus the next one you're going to announce. So 16 issues a month.
16 issues a month so far.
Psylocke, X-Men.
Just X-Men.
Just
X-Men. It's crazy.
Now, a lot of these are minis.
Yeah, but still.
So
we're getting a Psylocke book from writer Alyssa Wong and artist Vincenzo Caratu. Big Alyssa Wong fan. I think Psylocke is kind of cool. It's weird we're getting a Psylocke book and not like a Shang-Chi book. But here we are.
Is Shang-Chi an X-Men? Because then he would get his own book, Mike.
Oh, yeah, I'm just an idiot. After taking on the mantle of Psylocke, Kwanin became one of Krakoa's breakout stars in titles like Helions and Uncanny Avengers. Did they now? Now the telepathic and telekinetic ninja goes solo. Her upcoming adventures feature appearances by her lover, Grey Crow, shed light on her brutal upbringing with the Hand, and introduce a twisted supervillain called Taxonomist. Okay. She was made for violence, trained by an assassin at birth. Kwanin chose to be an X-Men, but there are still some jobs too dirty for the X-Men, and some paths have to be walked alone. Okay. Sure.
Yeah, it's a no-go for me. I've said before, my problem with X-Men is that it's too convoluted.
Yep, and here we are. This might be the most convoluted it's been in years, Chris.
And this is hands down the worst I've ever seen.
Yeah. This is crazy.
I don't understand how anybody, like, even the ones that were somewhat interesting to me, like Nyx and what was the one Mark Russell's doing? X Factor?
Oh, yes. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, those are interesting. I'm out on all of it, because then it's going to be like, well, you got to read X-Men number 3 to understand.
Don't you know where Psylocke's been?
I'm like, just
don't you know where Psylocke's been in issue 3 of her standalone book?
I'm like, I get it's all connected continuity and everything, and I'm willing to let go of not knowing certain things because I'm not going to read everything.
Mm-hmm.
But there's fucking 16, Mike. I can't do it. But the X-Men are, I'm done. They're dead. It's
sorry, guys.
There's no getting me in anymore. Like, there's no, I don't know what. You'd have to bring back Hickman to get me back in. That's it. That's the only thing I would do it.
It's still for 16 books. I don't know.
Maybe resurrect Donny Cates from the dead, wherever he is.
Yeah.
Then I'd read an X-Men book, but I don't know. It's no.
More Marvel announcements. Marvel announced a new West Coast Avengers series from writer Jerry Dugan, artist Danny Kim, and the team features a redeemed Ultron. Yeah, I mean, that looks like just the evil Ultron on there. Ultron returns redeemed, ? Iron Man and War Machine have put together a new team of Avengers, one that includes villains seeking a path to redemption. Their case study, Ultron, who against all odds seems to be walking the straight and narrow for now. But does this success of one guarantee success of all Spider-Woman and Firestar have their doubts? And any amount of heroics, can any amount of heroics really absolve Ultron of his past? Probably not, because he murdered a lot of humans. So
he destroyed entire realities, Mike.
Yeah, that too. It's a great cover, though. It's a really
that said, I'm reading the fuck out of this.
Yeah, that's a really cool cover. That Iron Man suit is sick. That's the new suit there.
It's that cover. I mean, that I don't think it's Ross, but it's
kind of Ross-esque though.
It's Ross-esque mostly because every person here has a classic suit, so that's like a classic 80s Iron Man suit. Like that's Iron Wars Iron Man suit, pre Iron Wars maybe. Anyways, I'll take Ultron however I can get it. I'm not a big West Coast Avengers fan. I'm not a big Iron Man fan, but I'll take Ultron however you can get them to me. So this sounds really fun.
Yeah, it sounds interesting.
And it's like, I don't know, it's comics. Like they'd find a way to redeem Hitler in comics. I don't know. Like, it doesn't matter how bad they are.
Yeah,
they can still be like, well, here's the heel turn.
Yeah, right. Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm supposed to.
Oh, whoops! Accidentally mass genocide somebody. Well, you're an Avenger now.
You're an Avenger, so we don't care. Marvel announced that with 1 year anniversary of the new Ultimates universe, we're getting a universe-spanning one-shot titled Ultimate Universe Year One. Oh no. Oh no, it's happening, Chris. From writer Dennis Camp and an artist that can be named later. I think this is fucking hilarious. We talked about you reading the book of DC Marvel going back and forth and how they still do it today, and then we have an Ultimate Universe Year One. 1 year in, but still, it's a year one. It's been 1 year since the Maker was locked away and the Ultimate Universe was left in the hands of villainous council, and in that time, heroes around the world have risen up, determined to fix this broken world. Now, with 1 year left until their leaders return, the Maker's Council launches a bold plan to wipe out these heroes. This oversized one-shot sets the stage for a second year of the Ultimate line and includes the debut of the Ultimate versions of 2 major Marvel characters. Interesting.
So they set up the Ultimate Universe with that little mini series that kind of, this is how it got created. And then they did Ultimate Universe #1. And it's obviously it's going to be a year from that, and that's where this is.
Mm-hmm.
This seems like it's connecting everything together out of the overarching story that Hickman has put in place here. So obviously I'm in. If you're reading Ultimate stuff, you should be in. I think it's hilarious that Dennis Camp is writing it because he's still shadowly connected to the Absolute Universe, if you remember that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I think the Ultimate Universe has been really cool. I'm down for this. Yeah, it's just funny to me that it's like to celebrate the 1 year anniversary. It's just like nothing is sacred, man.
Yeah, can't. Nothing is.
Like, I'll let you go when you go over your full year of everything's 80th anniversary, but like 1 year, come on.
Yeah. Dynamite Entertainment has announced they've expanded their licensing deal with Warner Brothers to make more comics based on some of their cartoon franchises, including Ben 10, the Herculoids, Dynamite, Captain Planet, and Thundar the Barbarian. Oh man, there it is. That is probably the one I'm excited for the most.
It's the only one I'm gonna buy.
Yeah,
because I don't need any other trash.
Yeah. Ben 10.
It's really cool because I just we'll talk about Space Ghost #4 a little bit later, but like I really like what they did with that book. I'm really excited for Johnny Quest. I just think that Dynamite's doing some cool things right now with some licensed projects, so I'm really down. But Mike, have you ever watched Thundar the Barbarian?
I have not.
Okay, neither have I, because it aired in 1981.
Yep. I'm sure it's
But
really
I learned some information about Thundar the Barbarian recently.
First,
it's a barbarian story that takes place in the year 3994, an apocalyptic wasteland. So it's a far-flung future, Conan the Barbarian in an apocalyptic wasteland.
Is that why he has a laser sword?
That is why he has a laser sword.
Oh, man.
So fuck yeah. Also, I want to throw out some names that worked on the show.
Oh, okay.
Steve Gerber.
Uh-huh.
Roy Thomas.
Okay.
Jack Kirby.
What the hell? What is going on here?
So during the 80s, a bunch of comic creators moved over to animation because comics will ruin your life. And it doesn't pay well. So they worked on some of these projects, and this is one of the most famous ones because Jack Kirby actually left DC to go work on this before he went back to Marvel.
That's amazing.
So a lot of these character designs are Jack Kirby designs.
I love that. That's awesome.
So I basically just want to talk about Thundar Barbarian because there's no fucking way I'm reading anything Ben 10.
Yeah, but Thundar.
The Herculoids, you have to sell me on. Dynamite, Captain Planet. Get that hippie trash out of here.
Yeah, get that hippie trash. Go recycle yourself, you piece of shit.
Thundar the Barbarian, though, I am there.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah, that looks awesome. I can't wait.
I wonder what this is. What's this thing?
I don't know. Who knows?
He's got a sweet.
Yeah, he's wearing a Speedo
right
no matter
here,
what he is. I don't know. He looks like a wrestler. IDW has teamed up with Viz Media for a new 4-issue crossover series titled Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles X Naruto from writer Caleb Gollner, artist Henry Prasetya, which I'll probably be reading. It's the coolest ninja matchup you could ever have dreamed of had you dared. The heroes in a half shell meet the host of the Nine-Tailed Fox in the crossover everyone will be talking about. When teenage reporter April O'Neil has a clandestine meeting with Tsunade, the leader of Hidden Leaf Village, it gets the attention of Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, Kakashi. They aren't the only ones who are wondering what the two women are discussing, though. The Sinister Foot Clan have their own interest in April's visit, and they think that it might behold some valuable information on mutation research being conducted by the scientist Baxter Stockman. With April caught between the forces of the Hidden Leaf Village and the Foot Clan, it can't be long before the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles show up to lend her a hand. Yeah, and that art is absolutely amazing. The Hidden Leaf Village, we don't really know where it is. That's like the whole thing about Naruto. I think this is such a cool crossover, and they gave the turtles the fucking headband pieces. Oh man, that is sick. That's the one thing everybody loves about Naruto is the head plates. That's how you know which village you come from. Damn, I'm probably reading this. I'm a huge Naruto fan. I've been since I was a young lad. I read everything, watched everything. I've never got into Boruto. Sorry about that. I won't do that. But yeah, I'll be checking this out.
Into what? Boruto?
Boruto is like the newest installment of Naruto, and I believe it's his son, but I'm not reading it.
Oh, I thought it was like a burrito thing.
No. I do want a burrito right now, though. That sounds delicious. Burrito. Yeah.
I never got into Naruto, so I personally don't care about this.
Yeah.
I think the promo image when I first saw it, because it got leaked, I was like, what? Like, it's insane because it's a manga character with American comics coming together. And it doesn't happen often, if it ever has. I can't think of anything, but it would not shock me to learn that there's others out there.
Yeah.
But these are two monster franchises for both companies.
For sure.
And it's a perfect fit. Most of them, like, I can make my jokes about Naruto and not liking them and everything.
But
ninjas,
ninjas belong with ninjas.
It's a perfect fit.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, too, what I think it'll do is, I know a lot of kids still love Naruto. It's a big franchise because manga is booming right now. Mm-hmm. If some of those kids come over and read some fucking TMNT X Naruto, they might get sucked into our world too, Mike. So
yep.
I'm all here for it.
Yeah,
I just won't be reading it.
I'll be reading it, so I'll be talking about it for sure. And speaking of what we're reading, Chris, let's talk about what we're reading.
All right. So for me, there's going to be quite a bit, everybody, because we did not go over everything last week.
Well, I didn't read anything this week, but I have my stuff from last week I didn't talk about. And I think the stuff you already talked about last week, I took off my list here. Some stuff I had to catch up on. Let's see, because I'm looking at the Absolute Power stuff, and I'm trying to see which way it went. Because there was
a Superman tie-in.
Yep, there was a Superman,
and that's the only tie-in I read.
And there's Task Force 7, and then Absolute Power Origins. Okay, so I'll start with Superman 16. They don't number the tie-ins. So this is Williamson Campbell tie-in for Absolute. I thought it was a good issue. Superman is healed. He gets the black suit. So everybody's like, oh, he's got the black and silver suit back. He's still weak though, no powers. And it's healing him. Everyone's hiding out in the Fortress of Solitude. They go to Lex's lab to find his suit because the those robots have taken over everything. And they find the Peacemakers there, Lady Peacemaker and the regular Peacemaker. And Lois shows up wearing the suit. Lois Lane shows up wearing like Lex's suit to fight them off and like save them. I think overall is a pretty good issue. We see some of the resistance happening to this whole Amazo's going around and messing everybody up.
Yeah, fun issue. When did we get a Lady Peacemaker?
I don't know. I honestly I missed that. Like he just showed up with her and like one of the Waller things. I don't know where I missed that in an issue somewhere, but
okay,
she's just around. Yeah.
I'm not a big DC guy, so I was like, I don't remember there being a lady Peacemaker.
I've been reading a lot of the Waller shit. She might have popped up in like the Suicide Squad book that I like dropped off of. Or I don't know if we just haven't been introduced to her yet. Yeah, I don't know where she came from. Yeah.
It was a fun book though. And I like that they brought back that classic suit because it has powers, so it helps him absorb blah 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 blah.
Yep. I don't know if I talked about this yet. Batman Superman World's Finest 29, Wade and Mora. It was a great issue. They pull the sixth dimension out of the Doom imp. And using all the magic users, they show up to fight this giant Doom imp. And it was really cool because as they're pulling the sixth dimension magic out of them, you get like reels of all these different glimpses of universe and shit. The art is just amazing. And one of them looks a lot like Doctor Strange, so that was funny. One of the magic users that they find in the multiverse, so that was cool. Really cool visuals of like the future and costumes while they're doing it. It was just like an awesome scene. And then like the end, they think, oh, Batmite is dead, and then but he isn't. You know, he comes back, and it finishes up the story arc. This story was amazing. Yeah, I mean this series has just been such a banger.
Yeah, it looks like because I was reading up because I was thinking about the whole Dan Moore thing about how he's doing 80 books and
right.
I think he's off this book after
issue
29.
His art is so good.
Yeah, it looks like they got another artist for 30.
Oh, okay.
And then he has a Superman run coming up, and then obviously he's doing Absolute Power, and he's doing this book and that book, and so.
Army of Darkness Forever #10. This is Tony Fleek still doing it, man, on the art. It's a lot of craziness. I mean, there's a lot of evil. There's two evil Ash doppelgangers. There's regular Ash and Sheila. They're all in the Middle Ages now, basically, and they're fighting. The main Ash gets stabbed, and so like we're worried about him dying in the next issue. This book is just wacky. It's Army of Darkness. It's a lot of fun. I don't know how else to describe it besides that. I mean, there's just a lot of fun shit going on, and just it's insane. Godzilla Power Rangers #2, issues 2 and 3, part 2, issues 2 and 3. This is Colin Bunn and Baldemar Rivas on the art. Amazing art as always. So it's like a back and forth every issue of the Power Rangers fighting Rita and the Dark Rangers. So the Power Rangers had to retreat to Zordon, where Zordon's like, oh yeah, they're at Zordon. They're like, we need to wait to fight back. So naturally, they pull on the harnessing the power of the Godzilla villains like Rita and her team was doing. So they create a whole new line of Power Ranger suits and Zords that are all Godzilla themed. This huge fight happens, and they like create this giant kaiju Megazord, and it was like fucking awesome. But like all the suits for the kaiju Power Rangers were like had like the headpieces of like the kaijus and stuff. It was insane. Like these last couple issues have been so much fun, and this series is just, I mean, it's just a fever dream at this point. Colin Bunn's killing it. So then we got a couple Absolute Power stuff. Absolute Power Task Force 7, Layman and Rayner. The Doom Patrol rescues Aquaman from Atlantis, and then the Amazo there pretty much goes on like a fury and destroys like all of Atlantis. And then the other side of that is Steve Trevor is working for Steel, is what we found, and they're framing him to get locked up, is what Steel is planning on doing. So don't really know what that's all about. And we get Absolute Powers Origin #1 by Ridley and Martinez. This is like, so the story is Amanda Waller year 1, and it's a really good story. She basically, like, we find out why she's a piece of shit, or like why she's like such a hard ass. She basically has to bury her husband and daughter.
I'm sorry, I wasn't laughing at burying her husband and daughter. Yeah. I was laughing because I was thinking like because her parents are dead.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Which I know sounds just as awful to new people. That's the Batman joke.
That's everybody. The Batman joke. Yeah. So basically her daughter gets like murdered and like raped by this serial killer. and then her husband goes to find him and kills him and dies. And so like what happens is the insurance company comes in and says you don't get the money for your husband's death.
Insurance company.
Yeah, you don't get the money for your husband's death because he was committing a murder as he was dying. So that's like they put himself in that situation. It's really so like this is all going on while like Batman is like roaming around Gotham. She's like, well, why is it okay for Batman to save the day, but my husband, you know, gets like shit on for what he did. So she basically like works to prop this politician up locally, and like you find out like, oh, he seems like the good politician. No, he's still a piece of shit like every other politician. But she basically, she frames and blackmails that politician to get him elected, and while blackmailing the other politicians. So like this is like her rise to power of like she started with local politics, and then like once they realize, oh shit, she's actually controlling everything. It was a really good first issue.
I love that she has this like terrible trauma, and her solution is, I'm going to torture a bunch of villains and make them fight to the death for me.
Yeah. Oh, we haven't got there yet. We just got to the local politics side of it. And some other stuff I read. I'm on volume 6 of Berserk. Really liking Berserk. And I read volume 1 of Duke, Chris. It was awesome.
The G.I. Joe book?
Yeah, I read the first.
Yeah, it's really good.
The G.I. Joe book, Duke. Yeah, it was awesome. I love when the gimmicky characters show up. Yeah. The like PTSD from Starscream, all that shit is just so awesome. It's a really good series.
Yeah, I can't recommend the G.I. Joe stuff.
I really enjoyed it. That's all I got to this week. I haven't read any of my books from this week. I just haven't gotten to it. I was reading a bunch of other stuff. So
okay, I'm gonna try to be quick because I have a lot. Silicon Bandits #3, which came out last week. Silicon Bandits continues to be my favorite book at Magma Comics right now. It's fucking awesome. Remote Space #2, that's the Cliff Rathburn book at Image.
Mm-hmm.
Another great issue. We kind of dive deeper into the whole back and forth, why the two species hate each other, all that. And there's a lot of like, this dude has been doing nothing but reading about quantum physics for years now, because I don't understand half this damn book, but I love it. Coming out this week on Wednesday, everybody, is Space Ghost #4, and it's fucking amazing.
Yep.
Zorak shows up.
Oh,
and
nice.
And you're gonna love how they reinvented Zorak.
Yep.
Mike, a book for you that I need you to read.
Okay.
Epitaphs from the Abyss #1. This is the new EC book.
That's on my list. Yep.
It's a straight horror book with a guy at the beginning who does the like crypt keeper thing, like introduces you to the concept, blah blah.
It's like Creep Show, yeah.
And the whole thing is basically like horror stories that lead to death.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like every book they do is going to have a theme around the horror. Because now I want to read the space one, because it's all sci-fi horror, which is when you talk horror, that's my favorite. So there's 4 stories in here. They're all really good. My personal favorite, I just got to talk about it real quick, is a politics story, but it's literally this reporter sees this woman on the news who ran for office, who said all these things. And what's unique about her is she's a right-wing person who's very pro-choice. But then when she gets to office, she votes against pro-choice, for pro-life stuff. So it's that whole like, why did she do it? Why do they flip-flop? Because as you said earlier, they're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But anyways, in this story, what you end up finding out is that when they get to DC, the two parties have these like buildings they control, which is true, like a real thing. But at the basement of these buildings, they have brain surgeons who will take out bad ideas from your brain.
Oh my God.
Wow. It was such a great twist. I loved it.
Yeah.
But like 10-page horror stories. Awesome.
That's
Issue
awesome.
2 has Jason Aaron on it. So
yeah.
I recommend that book.
It's in my list. I haven't got to it yet.
Yeah, I highly recommend it to people. New Gerard Way book, Paranoid Gardens #1 came out, and it's good. It's a slow burn start, introducing you to the fact that it's this like nursing home for people, but they're not normal.
Okay.
And you realize they're not normal real quick because there's like aliens there, and then like a Superman shows up and all this stuff. So really cool stuff there. Namor #1 came out.
Oh yeah, it did.
And Namor is in prison when he finds out that the 7 Seas have all tribalized, and now each of the 7 Seas is fighting against each other for supremacy over the world of water. and there's an attempted assassination on him, and that's when Stingray shows up and is just like, dude, this is what's going on, you got to help us. And Namor makes the decision that he needs to go back down to become the king of the seven seas again. And next issue is going to be him doing that. It was really good. Really, really good. Action Comics 1067.
Oh, yeah.
So classic Superman story. I think it takes place around the time that the Muhammad Ali issue happened, if you remember that.
Yeah.
But the whole premise is like Clark works for like this TV company. And that's a thing that happened, I guess, and I haven't read every Superman comic, so I'm going on what Wikipedia said to me. And these aliens show up and are just like, you need to fight for galactic supremacy or some bullshit.
Okay.
But you can bring 2 people with you. And so there's this gimmick where he's like, okay, well, I know who I'm bringing with me, and it's Wonder Woman and Batman, right?
Yeah, right.
And they just see Lois Lane and Jimmy standing next to him. And they're like, no, that's good enough. You can bring them. And that's kind of where the issue ends.
That's funny.
So it was fun. It's like a classic story.
Yeah, that's like an old school Superman.
The Moon Knight Fist of the Khonshu #0 issue that came out a few weeks back. It's basically just for people that aren't reading Blood Hunt. This is the way for you to understand why Moon Knight's back. It's basically what they did. It's like full page spreads with a little story added into it. This is what happened, blah, blah. So good for the collection, but not a great read.
Yeah.
Weatherman #7 came out, the final issue. I'm not going to say much other than say that, like, Weatherman, I love this ending. Weatherman is one of those books that I'm going to go back to time and time again over my life. Like, it is so, so good. And I recommend. Trades are out there. I really hope that they do like an all-encompassing 3-volume edition. And I really just love Weatherman. I read all the Ghost Machine books from the past couple of weeks. So Redcoat Geiger, Rook Exodus, and they're all just really good. I'm going to throw those all together because we have lots to talk about, Mike. I ordered this from a past guest of the show from Time Bomb Comics, Spectrum, The World of Gary Anderson.
Nice. And
it's really like, it's like campy short stories in this sci-fi universe that all connect. And I enjoyed it all together. But it's, I'm not going to say it's my favorite book ever. It's a fun little like anthology book with different characters. And apparently in each issue, you continue with these characters so you can grow with them. But I do love that cover. Look at that cover. It's great.
Yeah, it is pretty sick. Yeah, that's some great art.
And I like this little ball thing here. That's a robot that you find. And apparently he's like, his thing is he dies and his consciousness gets uploaded and then reloaded into a new ball.
That's funny.
So apparently every story, I mean, well, there's only one story with him in it there, but apparently every story we're just going to see him die, which I think is a funny gimmick.
Love that.
Super Pet Special Bitedentity Crisis.
Oh man, I gotta read that.
It's really good. It's a lot of, so it's an anthology style book with all different pet characters. Kyle Stark's story in here is funny as hell. It's basically a Cliff Notes version of Watchmen with dogs.
I love it.
But the main story, the first story you get is the Super Pets, and like Kanga, Wonder Woman's kangaroo, is a part of the team. Oh my god,
that's amazing.
So it's really great. And you find out that the main character here, the Nightwing's 3-legged dog, is just a piece of shit. He's worthless.
He's only got 3 legs.
And then Badig, the Green Lantern, the squirrel,
the Green Lantern squirrel,
the best Green Lantern ever,
of course,
is on the team too. And he gets really mad at Bat-Hound because he's constantly calling him a pet. And he's like, "I'm not a pet. Like, I'm an intergalactic space cop, dude." Like,
yeah, come on, dude.
Ultimate Spider-Man #7, which is an entire issue describing how their suits work. That's what happens in this issue.
Wow.
And I guess Dr. Octopus, Dr. Octavius is working for Harry to be his like Alfred to Green Goblin's Batman.
Okay.
So he's the one like working on the suits and rejiggering them and all that.
Yep.
It was interesting. Saga #67.
Oh yeah, I forgot. That's back. Yeah, I gotta read it.
Good little intro back into it. It's still they're working for a space carnival.
Yeah, that's what they end up hopping on a ship with, right, or something.
Yeah, it's weird. There's a dog dolphin. I don't know. It's a good intro. I want to get further in, but it's still it's missing something, man. Like we said with the last volume and the volume before that, like it's just missing something.
It's lost its hype.
It's secret sauce, man. I think the secret sauce, the dad, the love story between the dad and the mother.
Mm-hmm.
Biden's Titans versus Mickey Mouse, number 1.
Yeah, there you go.
We learn in this issue that Pete Buttigieg describes to Biden that because Mickey Mouse has come to their world, that means that they must be inside of an indie comic book.
Of course.
And that's why he's there. And that's when Winnie the Pooh shows up as well.
That's amazing.
And I fucking love this book. And then, of course, because any good adaptation of a public domain character has to turn into a horror story, Mickey Mouse just goes on a rampage, starts killing things in front of the White House, including Alex Jones.
Wow. Amazing.
And right before defeat, he is sucked into the multiverse where the Donald who laughs has him and is going to do something with him in the next issue.
Oh, my God. Wow. Just wow.
I love the whole series from start. If you guys go back to when it was Trump's Titans and then becomes it's hilarious. You can read in the front where the author is just like, I just want to shit on everybody. Like that's the whole point of this book. Blood Hunt number 5, which concludes Blood Hunt. Spoilers for Blood Hunt number 5. Good guys win, Mike.
Oh wow, really?
Big battle happens. Blade's daughter comes and helps Blade. She stabs him, and that gets rid of the demon vampire that's possessed him and everything. And everything goes back to normal, except they don't. We get a big thing at the end that now all the vampires in the Marvel Universe have a new power, Mike.
Oh, what's that?
They can walk in the sun.
Oh, shit.
So now all vampires are daywalkers.
Oh, boy.
And that was because Dracula sacrificed so much to help save the world that apparently it's vampire law that they must be rewarded in some way.
Oh,
I don't know.
Lovely.
Yeah, so now the vampire nation can function during the day is the whole point of this.
What the hell?
And it looks like they kept Miles Morales a vampire, which is interesting. Right. And I'll be interested to see how they explore that further. Because there's a moment where he comes out and goes, I'm in the sun, I'm cured. And Dracula's like, well, I'm here too, dude.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then 2 quick things. Manga I read, a new one called Blade of the Moon Princess, Volume 1.
Okay.
Which is a fun little book about a moon princess. No, it's about this tribe that lives on the moon, and they use Earth as their prison planet. And there's a coup and all this, and the princess has to go down to Earth to get away and everything. And it's her using this mystical sword to fight off people who are coming down to Earth to destroy her, while also being a teenage girl and trying to deal with growing up and shit. So there's some teeny angst shit in there, but you get past that, it's really good.
Cool.
And then I finally finished Just Imagine Stan Lee created the Marvel or DC universe.
That's awesome.
So this big tome,
yeah, that's amazing.
Comics, and it's a lot of fun. Your miles will vary when you get into past JLA. So they do Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, Green Lantern, Flash, and they do JLA.
Yep.
Then they do Robin, which was a weird choice. Shazam, which is but it's Gary Frank art, so it looks pretty.
Oh, that's cool.
Aquaman, which was okay. Catwoman.
Yeah.
Sandman, which was fucking awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
And then they do Crisis.
Wow.
But instead of Crisis being an event that happens, Crisis is a person that comes to try
that's cool. That's interesting.
Yeah. So I think it's worth reading, everybody, and you should definitely check it out. So that was all.
Yeah.
Mike, that was everything I read this week. Where can people find you on the internet?
Find me at Fortress Ricker on Twitter. Where can they find you and or the show?
You can find me at Fortress Chris on Twitter or any social media network you can think of. chriscomicscore.substack.com, where you can read my terrible writing. You can find the show at Fortress Comics _ on Twitter, also at fortresscomicnews.com. And I keep forgetting to tell everybody, we put clips up on TikTok, tiktok.com/@ChrisComicsCorner. And if you want a sports show, you can do it through the 5-star reviews and podcast of your choice. Like, subscribe, share, comment down below on the YouTube version of this, or go to patreon.com/fortresscomics for more. Thank you all so much for watching and or listening this week. We'll see you all here next week.
See ya.